Hello and welcome to this Monday edition of Kennedy Saves the World along with Jimmy Fela.
Hey.
Jimmy, I did a triathlon in Italy this weekend. How do you think
You
it went?
sure did. Here's the thing, man, and I'm very jealous of this.
Wow.
Not the triathlon part, because you've seen this.
Yeah.
Okay, but the Italy part, wonderful.
Yeah.
So I would like to think your heart about being enriched by this experience feels better than like your butt.
Yes.
And I'm not talking about the mile hike thing on the way home. I'm just talking about the race as a whole.
No, that wasn't just the butt.
Yeah. There it is. That's true. Because once you're done training, I would imagine.
I'm a triathlon. It's a 3-sport race.
It's try everything. She says triathlon. Gonna try it all.
I did. I brought a whistle into the restroom. We're doing drills. It was great.
Wow. That makes me happy. Well, congratulations.
Thanks, Jim.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
I feel, I'm relieved. I'm tired. It's so much buildup.
Yeah.
You get so nervous thinking about just one event.
Yeah.
It's like, I think I'm as brave as an Olympic gymnast. They've got like a minute and a half to do a floor routine that makes or breaks the rest of their lives.
Yeah, that's how I basically described my wedding night with Jenny. You gotta get on that bearskin rug and give me a reason to stick around 20 years.
Oh, my God.
Oh, come on. We're being silly.
But enough about what Jenny said.
Jenny! I'm kidding. Can you even say that? Sure you can. We're saving the world here, folks.
We are, absolutely. Now, speaking of saving the world, is it too late to get a whole new slate of candidates?
I know. So that's really such a great question. Apparently, they have printed up the ballots and sent them out. It's such a sad commentary on the two-party system as a whole that here we are now, about 40 days from Election Day, with a race that really nobody wanted. I mean, the Democrats, for whatever they say.
We thought we didn't want Trump Biden.
Yeah. And then we got Trump Kamala, but to that point, at least some Democratic primary voters had a say in selecting Biden. This was actually just like, you'll vote and you'll like it.
Yeah. And we're saving democracy.
We're saving democracy.
It's like ending violence by beating the living out of someone.
Hey, we're ending violence here. Hey, Maria, pass me my brass knuckles. I'm trying to end violence over here.
You want the belt or the stick?
I'm going to give you both because I'm ending violence.
We're ending violence.
But that's where we are now. We're 40 days out, which everybody's like, well, it's going to happen so fast. It's not happening fast enough for me.
Yeah.
Can you step on the gas? I hate this election. Yeah. I hate it. And
I mean, that's how I felt about the debate.
Oh, it was
I
terrible.
was like watching it. I looked at my watch. I looked at my phone. I was like, I thought this was supposed to end.
Yeah.
Like it should have been a half hour.
It could have been an email. You know that whole thing. This could have been an email. It could have been an email. There was no policy. There was no anything.
Didn't understand the assignment.
Didn't understand the assignment. You know, it's fine. I think back like it feels like it was almost 2 weeks now. Kamala did that Friday night interview at like that local news outlet where they were like, give me one or two specific ways you would lower prices in this country. And she goes, well, I was raised in a middle-class suburb.
Oh, she goes back to that
Yeah,
old
where people
It's
took a
just
lot of pride in their lawn.
ridiculous.
But that was the policy.
Yeah.
Give me one or two policy examples of how you'd lower prices.
Yeah.
Well, I was raised in a middle-class neighborhood where
Could you
people took pride in their
imagine if
lawn.
you did that on a college paper?
Yeah,
If you gave anecdotes about your life when they were asking for
Yeah.
a technical response.
No, they would tear open your knapsack in pursuit of illegal narcotics.
Yeah.
That would be the response. You would get a search before you got a grade.
Oh
So what do you think about the border crisis? I played a tree in the school play. You're like, oh, that's wonderful. What just happened? Take her keys. But that's what we're this close to electing.
I'll tell you. I'm glad you asked. I'll tell you about hardship. When my uncle died, I was like, no, I was asking literally about supply and demand and
No one is even trying.
basic economics. So how will price fixing and a run on goods and services make anything better for people who can't afford things now?
I'll tell you, I ran a 5K once.
Yeah,
you
you
talk about a run on goods and services. I ran a 5K.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Harris. President Trump. And everybody's like, yeah, she got him,
Thank
man.
you, Madam Vice
She got
President.
him. And this is what everybody's getting wrong. And it's so important, man, because like beating the other political side has become like the way of life now in politics. But what everybody doesn't get is it's not like me against the other person who hates every policy I stand for. It's both of me and that person against the government. This was not supposed to be voter against voter. It was supposed to be voter against expanding government that's shrinking our liberties.
Yes.
And that's what's happening.
Wow.
The bigger
When
the
did you
government
drink
is
the
getting-
libertarian Kool-Aid?
I did. No, it's not.
I love it, Jim.
No, it's not. I'm not endorsing anyone with autism. I'm just saying that's
I gave a speech before a libertarian audience a couple months ago, and it was the first time they actually started an autism chant. And they were like,
They're leaning in there.
autism.
They're leaning in there.
They really are.
Don't go anywhere. More Kennedy Saves the World right after this.
But man, did they screw the pooch on this one too? Because this, if ever there was a year, you know what I wonder about as we sit.
Do you know how depressing this is? Because I know what you're about to say, and it's one of the things that wakes me up at night. Like really, in this, like everyone's mad at the government for something. If it's not inflation, it's still long COVID. And I'm talking about like emotional long COVID or economic long COVID, the things that people haven't recovered from that they should be mad at the government about. If ever there were a time for someone to stand up and be like, taxation is theft, end the Fed, liberty now.
Yeah. And they missed it. This was your Super Bowl, libertarians. This was your Super Bowl.
How did crazy whale-killing, bear-humping RFK Jr. steal the thunder from, you know, the Spectrumites who have been trying for years to make some sort of inroads into national politics?
No, it blows my mind. And you know what else? Really, though, I wonder about a lot. I wonder if, like, you know, when you think about something like no labels, do you think there's a part of Nikki Haley that'll never forgive herself for not giving that type of third-party outreach a try? Just because, I don't know. I mean, she wasn't going to get the Republican
You had to go
nomination.
one or the other. It's either like, I'm staying in as long as I can, and I'm going to stand up to Trump the bully for the Republicans and the independents who don't like him and who see me as a rational alternative. But it wasn't enough people.
Yeah, it wasn't.
You know, it's like, and people don't want moderation. They really don't. They don't want a centrist.
No, they don't.
If they did, Joe Manchin would be president right now.
Joe Manchin can't even get elected president of his fantasy football league. They're like, no, we're sorry.
He's the worst.
No, not what you did with the fracking. So no good. Yeah, it's crazy. But that's where we find ourselves. 40 days out in an election nobody wanted. The thing that, when I try to handicap this, because I'm always talking to you about betting odds, the one thing, like, as a gambler, okay, that makes me think at this 40-day
Break
mark.
it down, Kenny Rogers.
I'll give it to you, okay? And you're better off getting it from Kenny Rogers than, like, Jimmy the Greek. Do you remember he got in a little trouble? He's like, well, I'll tell you a thing about the black athletes. I'm like, no, don't tell us anything about them. Jimmy, Jimmy, you do not have to tell us a single thing. It's fine. Actually, we're going to go to commercial while we still have an advertiser. That's funny. The David Duke campaign pulled out, but we have one other advertiser. Don't go anywhere. But hold on a second. But with 40 days out, this is the thing. This is the known to me, okay? The people who are voting Trump are voting Trump.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what happens. Doesn't matter what he says.
No.
Doesn't matter what world events might ensue. And to be clear, most world events, as we sit here 40 days out, sadly, if there were another attempt on Trump's life, that doesn't even count as an October surprise.
No.
It's not surprising. We've had two. You know what I mean?
Nothing is surprising.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing. Like, we have been so bombarded by intensity and weirdness
Think about
that I don't know what you would do for an October surprise.
Think about that.
I mean, Kamala Harris could have an entire, like, 20-year collection of pornography, and people would be like, don't care.
No.
Seen it.
Think about that. Jane's addiction broke up 2 weeks ago, but nothing shocking. We're still living. We're still living in a Jane's addiction title.
That is so beautifully
Nothing
said.
shocking.
Nothing shocking.
And it doesn't matter. But the one thing is, no matter what happens, the Trump people are voting Trump.
Yes.
I don't know how you gauge the Kamala support because part of it was sold to us by the press. Part of it's real because there's an anti-Trump sentiment in the country, but none of it correlates with like a true organic political rise, meaning winning primaries or winning people or articulating policy. None of that's happened.
Or someone who has an ideology.
Nothing.
That's why Bernie Sanders was always so popular, even though his ideas are pretty extreme.
Yeah.
The fact that he believes what he's saying goes so far in politics, and I can't believe more people don't realize that.
The Democrat-
Just like stand up for what you believe in.
Yeah.
You'll be amazed how many people follow you, even if they don't agree with you. They will respect that you're coming from somewhere. She is not an ideologue. It's the weirdest thing. I honestly don't know what she believes in other than her own personal advancement.
It's like a Mr. Potato Head. You know, you could take out a Mr. Potato Head and make it a firefighter, make it a cop, make it Woody from Toy Story. That's what she represents
Sounds
to the
like
voter.
everyone I met on my prom night.
But that is what she is. It's like you can dress her up at any type of aspiration the voter has for themselves or the country. They allow them to pin that to her.
Yes.
But she herself is an empty vessel. It's just a potato.
She's not even like a blank screen that is projected. Like she's less than that. It's the weirdest, because Obama was kind of like that. And Obama was like, yeah, fine. Like whatever is most important to you, you can kind of project that onto me, and I'm not offended by it.
But they get away with it.
She doesn't even know what that means.
No, she has no idea. She has no idea. And I was like, I think back to that interview 2 weeks ago, because it was the most damning one, where she didn't speak to the question she was being asked. And there's no way around that. Okay. But that's where we find ourselves. So you can't really quantify how many people are really buying into the Kamala hype, but you can quantify the Trump support. It's there. It's not wavering. So I'd say he's still a slight favorite right now.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens next week. And if there is something shocking.
Yeah, I don't know. If Jane's addiction gave up, like I'm just
what
nothing
hope
shocking.
Is there for the rest of us?
Can't.
Next Monday is our last day in September. It's our last day before the October surprise. So we'll see what happens, Jim.
Rock and roll.
Thank you.
The best.
This has been Kennedy Saves the World, along with Jimmy Fallon on Kennedy.
Listen ad-free with a Fox News Podcast Plus subscription on Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Prime members can listen to this show ad-free on the Amazon Music app.
Oh, go ahead and leave me a review while you're there. I'd love to hear what you have to say. You've been listening to Kennedy Saves the World on the Fox News Podcast Network.